Apologies for the gap between the last video and this video. I've been a bit ill, as you can probably hear, and for that reason it's been a bit difficult to, commentate. The biggest problem with my illness though is it's completely ruined the intro I had for this video, which was going to be about how the now not so recent update has taken out 5 lappers from ranked. Obviously that's now massively outdated. So we start off in Miami. I start P9 after a average as usual qualifying, 5 lights and lights out, and away we go. Pretty shit start, wheel spin off the line, that's pretty expected for me. Into turn number 1 on the outside, we get dive bombed by several people. Luckily, I'm in a lower license level, so everyone's ghosting on lap number 1, so thankfully I survive, otherwise I would definitely be absolutely dead right now. Because of everyone sending it into turn number 1, I somehow find myself in P5, despite feeling like I've not really made up any positions whatsoever. It was actually pretty relaxed once I figured out that I couldn't get taken out. I was just sort of driving my own race, just trying to gauge, who was potentially going to take me out once the car's solidified, and of course, enjoying the very unconventional overtaking manoeuvre of just going through someone. Despite not having the physical threat of other drivers around me, I was still making things difficult for myself on lap number 1. Hit the inside wall for the chicane and lose a position. We drop down to 7th now. Coming into the final braking zone of lap number 1. We're still a bit uneasy at this stage. We're surrounded by quite a few people, which is concerning given how contact will be enabled at the end of this lap. Coming to the end of lap number 1, we're going to finish in P8. And briefly inside a car. Thank God it didn't enable contact immediately, otherwise I would be flying in the air right now. Also thank God for a good ghosting system, because a lot of cars still go through me at turn number 1. Contact is enabled for this lap, but luckily the ghosting system, or just the game in general, showed me some mercy, which honestly, for the first time, thank you Codemasters. We're side by side with Plasma through sector 1, and he's going to force me off track. How nice of him. Honestly, I don't really blame him. This is a horrible sector for me. I absolutely despise it, and I was probably getting in his way anyway. My setup of this track is much more catered to straight line speed, which I'm going to show down this straight now. We've got Plasma battling someone just ahead of him, who's he's having an interesting defensive tactic of just being a dickhead. We're momentarily 3 wide down towards turn number 11. There's a little bit of contact with Sir Beast Mode 420. I'm not going to comment on that name. We're going to try up his inside though, down towards, never mind, we've hit the side of him and we're facing the barrier, and we wiggle the wheel in anger. Nevertheless, auto recovery once again fucks us over. It gives us control in the middle of the chicane, and then that happens. I mean, we somehow don't get any damage, but that's still massively fucked us over. And then actually nothing else happened in my race. I was just passing people when they crashed, and then at the end of the race on lap number 5 we're directly behind Sir Beast Mode. For P7 it's not a lot really. He's not very good. He's kind of all over the place really. We're trying to pass him, and it looks like our best bet is going to be down towards the final braking zone on the last lap. We're going to have DRS and it should be an easy move. We're going to cruise past him up into P7. Platinum has won the race, but we're going to have to focus on Sir Beast Mode down towards the final braking zone. He dives up our inside. We, for some reason, leave him room. That was very kind of us. That wasn't very kind of us. We just closed the door on him. I'll be honest. It was entirely my fault, obviously. I'm not going to blame him for that one. I'm just trying to think why I did that, because I feel like I would have had the traction on him. I was better than him. Honestly, I recorded this so long ago that I can't remember why I did that. It must have been a bad day, I guess. I must have been frustrated, or I just felt like taking someone out. Race number 2, and it is a very wet Baku Grand Prix. P2 doesn't get off the line, and we go straight up into P4. We're going to be on the outside down towards turn number 1, and it's probably the safest place to be. We run a little bit wide, don't hit the barrier luckily, and we've actually maintained 4th place. It's looking like a pretty generic start until Guff of Aiden tries to send up the inside of Armageddon Max, both interesting names to say the least, but regardless, that interesting move promotes us up to P2, which we'll happily take, and we're free to chase after Polini, is that what it says? Or at least we would have chased after this guy for the win, but a few corners later he has a very interesting line, and in a very unconventional place we get the cutback on him, and then he massively misses his braking zone, which is quite embarrassing. And judging how it's me, I'm sure you're assuming that I just went on to win this race comfortably by a significant margin, and it's a very boring race. So coming to the end of the first lap, we have the ironically named Love Me Boo behind me, who absolutely fucking humiliates me with a phenomenal move. He then randomly brake checks me and promotes me back into first place. I'm not really too sure what happened there, but obviously being directly behind me down the main straight, there's nothing I can do. I've got my ERS on, and he should be cruising past me, but he isn't. He wants to humiliate me again around the outside of turn number 1, and he's done it again. We're side by side through turn number 2, and I've actually got back ahead of him, ready to be humiliated for a third time, I guess. But he didn't feel like passing me for a third time, actually. Into turn number 3, he just hits the back of me and completely destroys my wing and my race. This part's on me. This is just me just being shit. But obviously, with no front wing in the wet, the rest of the race was just painful all round. We had a 25-second lead to P3, so at least we had some margin, but I mean, it's going to be a lot less now. It's just footage of me struggling through the castle section, and you can see P3 is almost directly behind me now, so that's going to be fun. However, we do have a lifeline because Love Me Boo has left the session, so with 1 lap remaining, can we close up 17 seconds on a ghost car and retake P1, which we definitely deserve? No, is the answer to that one. Absolutely not. We did our best. We ended up closing the gap to 8 seconds when he crossed the line. Yeah, it was a pretty shit race, to be honest. We just got fucked over by other people. We got second though. That's something, I guess. Fuck you. On to 5 lap number 3. It is at the Netherlands, and we start on pole position this time. This has surely got to be a win. It's actually a decent start from us, and into turn number 1 we are going to be maintaining the lead. But let's face it, for how long? Well, it's actually looking pretty good. At the end of lap number 1, we have a 2.2 second gap to P2, and the form continues. At the end of lap number 2, we're still in the lead, and we've opened the gap to 2.7 seconds. It's not a huge increase, but a win's a win, we'll take it. At a halfway point of the race, we're 3.2 seconds ahead of P2 now, and it looks like absolutely nothing can stop us. Apart from that curb there, and that curb, and that braking board. Other than that, absolutely nothing can stop us. Despite the minor turbulence over the bumps, we still hold the lead as we come to the end of lap number 4. 1.7 second gap over P2. It looks like he's not going to be in our DRS. Never mind, we've lost traction on the exit of that corner there, and we've lost the lead with 1 lap remaining. I would say let's fight back in the final lap, but let's face it, I've already done the job of destroying myself mentally. Didn't need anyone else for that help. And in the final DRS zone of the race, we still sit behind P1. Yeah, we're going to have a run down to the line, but I don't think we've got a straight line speed to overtake this guy, and we've bottled an easy win. Predictably, I guess. Oh no, he's bottled it even worse than me. Finally, I'm in the clear. That is a horrific bottle, and we're going to come home and take a deserved P1. And we get the fastest lap to prove we are the best driver on this grid. I mean, it's a lights to flag win. It was never in doubt, really. We're going to take a win by 25 seconds. Look, I mean, P2's not even close to finishing yet. It's just a phenomenal performance by me. Well, we've got a win in the Silver League, so let's go one step better and get a win in the Gold League. I am currently ranked Gold 2 as of this clip. It's a very wet Hungarian Grand Prix, and because of that, it's a absolutely shocking start, although there's a lot of cars off the track. And we're actually going to go up positions down towards turn number 1, diving up the inside of Ruby Yappa in towards turn number 1, hugging the inside as much as possible. Luckily there is no carnage really, and on the exit of turn number 1 we're going to be P6. A decent enough start considering we started at the back of the grid. And it would seem that Netherlands' win has energised me massively, and I seem to be in a fighting spirit. There's a car that's gone off into the barrier on the left hand side. That's unfortunate for him, but we don't care, we're up into P5 now. My mentor and some German guys battling up ahead down towards the chicane for the podium places, and P1 and P2 aren't that far ahead, so we could genuinely be on for yet another win if we get a better line through the chicane, that is. We've lost position to P5 in the horrible, I mean it looks like the Earth car from Honda in like 2007. Makes me want to throw up a little bit, to be honest. Not wanting to look at it for too much longer, we're going to dive up the inside of him, down towards turn number 12, and we're actually going to scare him off track. I don't know if that was me or just him making a mistake. I'm going to assume it was me. I am pretty terrifying when I'm in someone's mirrors. And now back up into P5, hopefully we can regain some momentum and challenge for this podium place, and hopefully the win, although P1 he's pretty far ahead now. On lap number 2, P3 has pulled away just a little bit and we find ourselves behind my mentor. We definitely didn't have the straight line speed for passes, so we had to get creative through the middle sector, and sector 2 was, I was going to say where we were strongest, but I can't say that anymore because I've absolutely thrown it away. Okay, lap number 3 and we've got some work to do. We're currently in P8. I am fully aware that we're just slowly falling back down the order. We're behind a Red Bull car. We've got the pace on these guys, we just clearly don't have the consistency. Down towards turn number 3, we're going to sneak up the inside of the Red Bull car. There's a little bit of contact and a little bit of loss of traction, but we are going to carry the speed round the outside. Side by side of him, down towards turn number 5, we've got the inside line, and luckily he does pull out of it. And now, on lap number 4, maybe now we can have some momentum through the middle sector. You can see this is the pace advantage I've got with the higher downforce. We're hassling this guy through the middle sector, but it's just not a place to pass. We're going to try and get a good exit out of this corner and attack him down towards turn number 12. Side by side of him, down towards turn number 12, there is a car off on the left hand side, and because of that, we are going to be back up into P5 for the third time this race. We're still side by side of him into turn number 13. We missed our braking point, but it's kind of worked out. Not really. I've lost the rear of the car and broke my wing. That's going to make this final lap really fun. We are still side by side with this Audi, down towards the first corner now, and you can see that is the difference in straight line speed I've got against everyone else. But with a broken wing now, I've got absolutely nothing to lose. We're going to absolutely send it into turn number 1, and it kind of works. Everyone else tripped over each other, and we've gone from P6 to P3 in one corner. Now through turn number 3, we are battling this F1 Seb guy, who doesn't look like he's having the best of times. He's going to run wide at turn number 4, and suddenly, despite bottling at every given opportunity this race, we've just taken P2. Oh, and also Seb's got an 11-second penalty somehow, so somehow I don't think he'll be a threat. And to the shock of many, I don't actually bottle it this time round, and somehow we finish P2. I honestly don't know how that happens, but all I can say is I'm just incredible, I guess. Also, shout out to this guy. He was in the Hungary race and he messaged me afterwards. He's the first person ever to watch my videos and actually be in a lobby with me, at least that I've known of. Yeah, it was a really surreal experience. Yeah, thanks. Armour Red. Definitely didn't say that right.